Good morning. Good afternoon. It's Monday. Scott Latitri Live. Welcome to today's recap. So, this seems like a normal, summer day. Today, you had a little bit of follow through to Friday's strength. Friday's when the market tried to figure out whether or not, it's going to pivot off of that support area. We all know what happened. Friggin' Thursday night, we were at 1890, where everyone wanted to cover shorts and buy. And by the time we walked in on Friday, we were up 5-6 handles, and then had to figure it out before igniting with them saying that Russia was pulling back troops and this and that. Today there was headlines all day long how they still have 45,000 troops on the borders, and no matter, and if they do anything even for humanitarian reasons, that the president's going to flex his teleprompter. But with all that said, market's trading, and that's what you have to do now. You have to trade. You have to see what's acting best, what has a tight pattern. You can't just have short on the brain, and you can't chase things long. And that's pretty much the way it's been for a while now. For the past 2 weeks since we broke 1970, we've been more neutral to negative on the market, and now I think you have to be neutral to positive, and then in the high beta names or the go-to names, they've been doing really well. Again, but specific prices, or you let things go a little bit. Let's just start running some, through some things. Here's the SPX. This was the trend that broke here at 1970 or 197 on the spiders. This is when we broke 195.20, and then you had this choppiness back down, developing this descending channel where this was the low of 190.55. A lot of us were hoping to be able to get some kind of really nice trade into 188.50 or 189, and that's what happened. I guess after hours Thursday when Red Dog was sleeping, because I get up every day at 4:45. But anyway, it reversed, gave you an opportunity, to get involved Friday or at least cover some shorts, and then today pretty much closed off the high. So I don't know if that's going to mean we're going to open down tomorrow or whatever. I would think that if this market wants to kind of stay in groove, it would hold at least 193-ish, maybe even 192.5, and put maybe a higher low. I don't think it's going to be a straight shot. And I guess some that sold the rally, if they waited a little bit later in the afternoon, or around 11:30, 12, when a high was put in, they were able to, I guess either make some money on their hedge or just even get a cute trade if you bought on Friday and you sold today on the follow through and then switched. Anyway, you go to the 5-minute chart to see, the calculated sell on the spiders, which here is the gap up, gave you a little bit of follow through, not a whole lot, and then right around here, because I remember going to the gym, I shorted some spiders right around here because I had 3-4 longs. I'm like, I'll put a buy stop here, and then if the market pulls in like it always does every day midday and takes money away, at least I'll make some money on my hedge. So meanwhile, it did come in and closed off the highs, but a lot of stocks didn't. So anyway, I do have some longs, which you'll see in my disclosures on my Redler All Access note or at the bottom of the article. But I'm pretty heavy in the spider hedge. Some things I did like today, I posted the chart of Apple. Apple, it'd be nice. It just broke its descending channel somewhat. You had a Red Dog reversal right here on the 50-day. So if you bought it and took it home on Friday, you got paid today. I came in with it long, and I leave actually a little bit longer. So hopefully we get another day. This trend was somewhat broken, but it didn't fall apart, and it still stayed above this support. So you could say it's some kind of sideways consolidation after still along around 100. Last time it had a descending channel like this after a big move from that prior quarter. Took some time. You had a reversal, and then it built and went again. So who knows? Maybe this is that run into the September 9th invitation. We shall see. In other high beta tech, Google's still lethargic. Not even much to talk about here. It did hold this area, but some think that you have like a head and shoulders formation forming here with the left shoulder, the head, and then this could be the right shoulder forming. You have a trend line that broke, that it's below. So at this point, I'm not even really trading it until I see something kind of different. Amazon failed at resistance too. Well, I wouldn't say failed, but this was your 324-ish area. It's still trying to break this small downtrend, but I think it's just well, what's the word without saying anything non-compliant? Upsetting some shorts that it can't wait. And anyway, who knows? This is the line in the sand for this huge gap. Here's all these moving averages. I haven't traded this in a few days either. What did go quickly was Tesla, something we've been talking about for the past 2 weeks, if not, ever since you've been watching the morning call and recap. This is when it woke up on earnings when they actually gave it a pass, or they said we're buying it no matter what. And then here again when it broke above this pivot, and then it stalled right in front of here. So it would be nice if this could just chill, a little bit and go sideways for then another trade through that high. And this has just been something really strong. We also talked about Netflix, another like pivot buy. It had a pivot buy and then came off it. This was one of the other ones, and then you had a little flag, and it went again. And this, goes to show you that again, even the strongest ones, you have to be a little price specific. This is when it broke out back here. So it did get as high as 457, closed at 451, 6 points off the high. So if you chased it, maybe into this resistance, you definitely aren't feeling so good right now if you still have it. But overall, it's still above the 8 and 21. It's still the strongest. It just, again, you have to be careful. This one broke above a level, closed on the highs. This time broke above a level, a higher level, and sometimes it doesn't close on the dead highs. So you have to measure your commitment to it. Facebook, I'm not even going to get through the whole chart of it. I'm just going to say that it's trying. You have this gap here that didn't get filled, but it's letting the 8 and 21 day catch up. There's definitely sellers in this thing, but there's also buyers. Obviously, if it's above the 8 day. Some ComScore came out in the afternoon showing positive numbers, which gave it a little bit of a boost, but it closed off the highs. I guess I'm long this, and I'm hoping that we don't get sideswiped tomorrow. But if it gets above 74 with any kind of authority, perhaps this trades better. You go to the weekly chart; it's still looking really good, very good. And this is when I remember it broke out here, and then you had a little bit of a descending channel there with this nice weekly red dog reversal. And then another tight wedge. This is when, remember that trend, and it held it, and it looked like it was going to break down, and it didn't. Nice little bar right there. And now it's flagging again, and 8 days catching up, and it just looks like it's taking time. And then just day trading it is tough. Same with Twitter. Day trading Twitter is tough. It's not really giving us any kind of power. There was some news that the CEO said they wouldn't, that they would go into China, blah, blah, blah. Kind of saved it. Looked like it was a little weaker, and then it closed okay. So it's still, holding the gap, letting the 8 day and 21, 8 days right here, actually, the 21 day catch up, still even above this pivot. So it just hasn't, been ready to go yet. So perhaps at some point it gets above 44, and then that's when you have to add. And if one of these times, short that shorts it here is not going to be able to hold it down, and it can go. Got to give it to Sperling. He was all over this GWPH today. Nice day, nice volume. I screwed this one up. I had it early on with him. This was a nice little red dog reversal right there. You look here too. It has some volume attached to it. Basic studies, go volume, okay, and nice volume. Broke out. Took a break after a big move, so it still looks okay. Hopefully this day one leads to more. I actually was in GWPH and I got out and I bought this thing. Someone, there was a big report on it or whatnot, and I liked that it came up on heavy volume, and then all of a sudden at the end of the day, everyone's like, Red Dog, did you know it has earnings coming out tomorrow morning? So I had to hit it out. So if it has great earnings and opens up $10, you know what? I don't take stocks into earnings, especially stocks I don't really know about. If it was not, I would have held some with the volume and a day one above a level and whatever. Serves me right for not doing my homework and jumping in something. The banks kind of, still are lethargic. They've been lethargic pretty much all year. This is Goldman, broke above this area, kind of held it. So I guess as long as it stays above today's low moving forward, maybe it builds a little bit more. But again, you have to be very specific on these banks because they don't really give you much. BMW, it's trying to get going again. I bought a little bit today. It's definitely a little, nice flag above a big level. So we'll see what happens if they want to, keep going after some tech. Perhaps this can continue. FFIV, that was where I made my day trading money today. Sperling had it as his play of the day. I didn't have it coming in, and then real quickly off the open, I bought some and I traded out of it, and it still looks good. Little volume today, big, long base. Perhaps this can continue, and that'll help some other stocks in that group. And gold, what did gold do today? Gold's hanging in there, and you would think that it would have sold off a little bit more, but it didn't. It's holding this gap. It's above the moving averages. Technically, it looks somewhat good here, you know, and if this were to get above 126.51, perhaps it gets a little bit upside. You know, it's been hard to trade, but you know, you have this descending channel. If you've been a buyer on dips, congratulations. If you've been playing for momentum, there hasn't been really that much, you know, one day to the next. And at this point, it looks as if maybe this time could be a little bit different. So this is your area. It usually does things overnight, which you can't help. But if it does it intraday and it gets going, I don't know, maybe it'll take 45,000 troops to march into the Ukraine for that to happen, you know, or if they leave, then it goes like that. So at this point, you know, it's too erratic, and most of the moves happen overnight, and I like to have a little control of my situation, so you know, I'm kind of avoiding it. Maybe it happens intraday coming up. And what else? Yelp. At the end of the day, I hate this stock, and you know, it perked up a little bit, and I guess it did have decent numbers, and they sold it down. I remember that day. That was a different type of mood in the market. Maybe, you know, you put this on the radar for tomorrow. Perked up a little bit of volume, perhaps. If things stay normal or not too pressured, it can continue, but I'm not there. What else was people looking at today? I don't know, not much. So I guess, you know, it's Monday. We closed off our highs. We've had a big move from that Thursday night into today's open, so it might need some time to, you know, pack and fill. And, you know, there are some things acting better than others, but your timing has to be pretty good, or you have to be very loose depending on your time frame. I can't say you have short on the brain is the way to go, because some of these high beta names are moving around, and just play to your strengths. I know Mark likes to be long, and so do I, and it's hard to flip both ways. You know, it's hard to, you know, be long short or be in something, and then as soon as you think it's stalling, just get out and shorten it, you know, or just things move too fast. You're better off picking your spots, doing what you do best, work on a little bit of what you don't do well, and you know, keep those feet moving. And if you're trading here in the summer, it's August 11th, 12th. Don't expect too much. If something happens, you know, what do they say? Luck is when opportunity meets preparation. So if you're going to be at your office or at your desk, you might as well do your prep work. Otherwise, stay on the beach. I will see you tomorrow morning with Brittany. Have a good night.